it helps if the microphone is on. Solar energy. Is it worth it? Or, in that matter, is any of the clean energy worth it? That's the multi-billion-dollar question. Some downsides to solar is high upfront costs, limited return on investment, and maintenance expenses. Now, this is a very generous list of downsides. Number one, it is expensive to put in, and it takes forever to see a return on. Those are both accurate. Maintenance expenses. I'm not that familiar with the cleaning aspect of this, but solar is a developing technology, much like television has been a developing technology. And because it's a developing technology, things that are currently state of the art in 5, 8, 12 years will be obsolete, meaning that solar panels put in now will be absolutely worthless at that point in time, meaning that you have to put in almost the exact same cost to get current models of a solar panel that would perform at an optimal capacity. Something else that you'll not hear too commonly mentioned by the proponents of solar is the fact that the production of solar panels is very energy intensive, meaning that it consumes a lot of energy to make something that's not going to make as much energy. Defeats the whole purpose. It also uses rare materials, which contribute to the lack of return on investment. Some panels contain toxic materials such as lead and cadmium, which lead, everybody knows about lead poisoning, but I don't know about the cadmium. So pose hazards during manufacturing and when the panels need to be disposed of at the end of their life. The other downside is solar relies entirely on sunlight, which we can't control. So do with that what you will. There's also the downside of storing that energy when the sun's not shining, which adds a whole nother thing to the environmentally friendly. The batteries that they use to store those are horrendous. Also, let's just be real. The fact that they put these solar farms on prime farmland or land that would otherwise be what the planet's supposed to be, just empty land with grass and trees and everything in between, it has a huge impact on all that. It also is not something that is currently very compatible with the grid for power. So I do know a couple people who have solar, and because they're where we're at in Ohio, you can't rely entirely on solar. So what happens is when you get a high amount of sunshine, your excess of power gets sent up the line to the power company, and they pay a minimal rate. And then when you have to tap in to the grid to supplement, you're paying more than they paid you for the stuff you gave them. So it's not a good, it doesn't math. So the geographic limitations, there's places that it's great for, there's places that it's not, and it doesn't jive. But the biggest thing is the fact that they're evolving technology that has a high turnover rate as far as what is compatible. The efficiency in older panels is not as good, so there's the cycle of having to upgrade and then having to dispose of those old panels that are full of nastiness that you don't want. So is it actually a cleaner option? In my opinion, no. Does it make the hippies happy? I guess. I don't know. Maybe the hippies just need to go take a bath. I don't know. I think that's a movie quote. Probably get hit with a copyright on that if this thing ever gets monetized. But that is it for now. I will continue these thoughts later. Stay tuned. We're back with more on the whole solar power issue. We're going to make a lot of friends with the hippies on this one. How green is solar? Well, not great. This one is an article by Harvard Business talking about the overall effects of solar. Well, it did survive the pandemic, largely due to government subsidies, which I am 100% against. I just don't like the way the government spends my money. You got a problem with it? Take a hike. On the positive, the conversion of efficiency in panels has improved by as much as 0.5% each year for the last 10 years, and costs in production have declined. According to the article, the sheer volume of discarded panels will soon pose a risk of existentially damaging proportions.
I think it's hugely expensive and a total waste of money.
This is largely due to a lot of heavy metals that are used in the manufacture, lead, and I can't remember the name of the other one. They are a hazard to the health and well-being of people. Another article here. At the end of the day, the power generated by solar panels is clean, but to get to that, not so much. Solar energy looks like a clean and safe power source, but is it really as green as people say? Making solar panels creates pollution and uses harmful chemicals. For instance, the International Renewable Energy Agency, or IRENA, estimates that by 2050, discarded solar panels could amount to 78 million tons of waste globally. When these panels get old, recycling them is expensive and difficult. So many end up as waste rather than being properly disposed of. The materials used in solar panels also come from mining, which can harm the environment and workers. Their argument is that solar power in the end result is cleaner than burning coal or gas. The production and disposal of solar panels is a hazard, which I would disagree on the power being cleaner, because if you've got all this on the front end and the back end as far as making the panel, disposing of the panel, is it really cleaner? Manufacturing requires mining materials such as silicon, silver, and lithium, which mining of anything causes land damage, water pollution, carbon emissions. Factories that produce panels, which is the absurdity of solar, really bugs me, because in theory, yes, it sounds great, but you've got all these negatives to get one positive, and it just irritates me. Production of solar panels involves harmful chemicals such as lead and cadmium. That was the other one I couldn't remember. Things you don't want. According to this article, solar panels do have a lifespan of about 25 to 30 years. However, from personal experience talking to people who have had solar, still have solar, they outdate very quickly. So while the panel itself may, in fact, operate for 30 years, they don't competitively operate for that long. One of the cons that it doesn't really go into much is land use. Putting in hundreds of acres of solar panels is definitely going to affect plant life, wildlife, future use of land, because those solar panels do leak. They contaminate the ground. It is not a clean source of energy. Number two reason why I think the whole push against fossil fuels is absurd. I don't know who all took science in school, but fossil fuels being burned produces CO2, or carbon dioxide, which is one of the greenhouse gases that are supposedly burning a hole in the ozone. Do you know what actually uses carbon dioxide? I'll give you a hint. The plants that they're killing off to put in solar farms. Yes, you heard that right. The absurdity. They're putting in solar to save the planet by killing the planet. You cannot make this up. Why do you think the median and the side of the highway, the grass grows so well there? Yeah. Here's your sign. You're a retard. I have literally never understood the argument against fossil fuels because of this one reason. They produce CO2, which plants use. But supposedly, the CO2 is killing everything. So we're going to kill everything and put in solar panels, because those will save the plants that we just killed. Don't get me started on wind. And sorry for the whole rant. We were talking about it at work today, and you just can't make it make sense to me. It just doesn't add up. As always, drop us a like. Leave your comments. What are your thoughts on this subject? And subscribe to the page. We would greatly appreciate it. And we will see y'all in the next video.